What's up guys, Anders here with another video in my renewed beginner guide series. Today we're going to go over the Black Desert Cash Shop and see what is and isn't worth your money. But before we do that, I want to thank the supporters of this channel. You guys help keep these videos going, so thank you so much for the support. If you want to help out, you can do so by subscribing to the channel if you haven't already, liking or disliking this video, and hitting that bell icon. Bell is good, so please ding the bell to get notified when I upload my next video. Now, as for the cash shop in this game, there's a lot to get to, so we'll go over everything by categories. The first category we need to look at is the loyalty category, or the mileage category as it's called in some regions. To purchase things from this category, you need loyalty or mileage, and you can get a certain amount every day just by logging in. 100 loyalty is the standard for North American and European regions. So when you see things costing 1,000 loyalty, you can think of it as an item that costs 10 days worth of logins. The most valuable items in this category are the 1-day value pack for 1,700 loyalty, 50 plus weight for 3,500 loyalty, and 1 character expansion slot for 5,000 loyalty. There's also the Natter's Band for 10,000 loyalty. That's a one-time purchase. And the 1-day Blessing of Kamasylve for 1,000 loyalty. Artisan Memory as well for 400 loyalty is okay, as well as Valk's Cry for 100 loyalty, although that has some weekly limits. Reminder, this is for NA and EU. I know some other regions out there have different items on their cash shop. If you're on console, you're also going to have different items on your loyalty tab. As you can tell, the better items cost a lot of loyalty and a lot of days to acquire. The more you play early on, the more bonuses you get to help you reach those high cost loyalties for the first time. And if you are looking to spend loyalty for the first time, spending them on a character expansion slot or a Natter's Band is not bad. Now, Natter's Band is a one-time purchase with loyalty, while the character expansion slot has no limit up to the character curation limit, which currently is 21. If you were to buy these items with real money, you'd look at $11 for the Natter's Band and $6 US for the character expansion slot, although there are sales sometimes. The expansion slot is self-explanatory, but the Natter's Band is an item that expands your fail stack storage. It's a function that allows you to store fail stacks you've created on a character and recall that same fail stack on any other character you wish, or the same character. It's primarily a quality of life item for those players looking to do a lot of enhancing. You get 1 for free and get 1 through loyalty. The other 3 slots, although being expanded now to many more slots, can be only bought through Cash Shop. Even for those who do minimal enhancing, it's just nice having at least 2 slots instead of 1, but in the end it's up to you, but those are my suggestions of what you should do with your loyalty. Now, after loyalty, we have the function tab. This is where you're going to find the inventory expansion, the storage expansion, a lot of functional items, hence the name function tab. Weight increases are character bound, meaning when you buy one of these, they do not affect your other characters, only the one you buy it for. If you're absolutely certain you will be mating your current class for the rest of your BDO time, then it's not a terrible idea to buy weight, but I suggest as a new player to buy storage maids instead. Now, maids come in 2 types, storage and transaction. Storage maids allow you to call your maid almost anywhere in the world of BDO and transfer 100 weight of an item to a nearby storage from your character, or place 100 weight of an item from a nearby storage to your character. A maid costs $12, while a 100 weight costs $10. The benefit of the maid is that she can be used by any character in your account, so that's why it's a little bit more expensive. The transaction maid allows you to place 100 market weight of an item to the market warehouse for selling purposes, or it allows you to place 100 weight of an item to your character from the market warehouse. This is useful if you need food, for example, and you have no food on you or in your nearby town storage. You can buy food from the central market anywhere in the world of Black Desert using the transaction maid and place it in your inventory. We are getting another function that will be free, which is called a Family Crest Shared Inventory. The cooldown for using maids is 20 minutes, so keep that in mind. You get 2 maids for free while leveling through the game for the first time. The most practical use for each maid are sending trash loot. So say you're grinding PvE, the main junk item is probably going to be very heavy, although they've done some things to help alleviate that for newer players. But eventually you're going to run out of weight in your main character, so you need to send that somewhere. You can put it on your horse if you want, or you can send that to a town storage with storage maids. Now, transaction maids are used for replenishing potions. You can store a lot of potions in the central market warehouse and can take out more potions from the market warehouse than if you were to store those potions in a town storage, because the item weight of a potion and the market weight of a potion are different. So for example, if I were to run out of potions, I really need potions right now, I want to replenish them, I can only take 40 potions from my town storage using a storage maid, while I can take 100 potions from my market storage through a transaction maid. Early on, I recommend you have at least one transaction maid, and the rest can be storage maids. Now, in terms of weight for your character, if you decide on one class, I recommend having at least 1200 weight on your main character. That's good enough for most of anything you'll do in this game. Casually, you'll have around 800 to 900 weight with a value pack active. So you'll only really need to buy about 2 or 3 forms of weight to have what I recommend the amount of weight you should have. Now on to inventory. You get a lot of free inventory through the main story and side quests, to the point that I really only think you need to buy inventory if you feel like you're really struggling. For the most part, the inventory you get for completing the story will be enough, and you get inventory from events more often these days, so buying more inventory isn't incredibly necessary. It used to be an absolute must if you planned on fishing, but fishing got a discard feature that now makes that irrelevant, and you don't need as much inventory as before. Now, the consumable subcategory is full of useless items. The only ones you want to take a look at are the captain's medallions, which are specific for players who are really in-depth and all in on sailing and bartering, since these allow you to get more sailor slots so that you can have a larger roster, which in all honesty isn't all that necessary either if you're just power leveling sailors. It's just a quality of life thing that, again, unless you're heavy into bartering and sailing, you don't ever need. The XP transfer coupons for the professions or life skills are not needed either, and only used if you decide to main another class and for whatever reason you think you need to change those life skills onto that new class you're playing, which you don't really need to do. It's not worth the money. Artisan Memory is probably the only effective item here, since the item allows you to repair by a multiple of 5. Instead of using 5 resources, you use 1, which is very powerful if you enhance a lot. These items are often bundled a lot these days. You can find them for a cheaper value usually than the retail cost. To give you an idea of how much you save by using 1 Artisan Memory from the cash shop, when you repair a rare item, you effectively spend 50 cents to save 7.2 million silver. So 100 of these would cost you around $40, much less if it's bundled and on sale, which it usually is, and save you around 720 million silver. Effectively one of the most pay-to-win items in the cash shop, but also one of the more noob trap items in my opinion. This game cannot be won in the sense that spending money to save on in-game silver is good, but not a guarantee of success, since you're buying this for enhancing. You can still end up in the same place as someone who spent nothing and instead grinded a bit more to spend more in-game silver. So be careful. They give these out a lot nowadays through events, so I recommend you use those. And then if you're feeling like the game is nice to you in terms of luck, then you can spend some money on Artisan Memory as long as they're in those bundles I mentioned, so you get more for your money. The other items in this category, like Tears of the Wind, Alien's Tears, Megaphones, and Black Spirit Essence, can now all be crafted in-game for very little cost, so absolutely no need to spend real-life money on that. The slot expansion subcategory is not bad. Now, these items allow you to have more worker slots without the cost of contribution points, which are at a premium in-game, saving as much contribution as you can. So you can invest in more nodes for more resources is a very good thing in my opinion. So you want to take a look into city storage expansion and worker lodging expansion. The wharf expansion, which is for your ships to have more ship slots, absolutely useless since you have at most 2 ships that you use if you're bartering or sailing. Maybe a little bit more, 3 or 4, but again, not needed whatsoever. Not worth your money. The stable expansion can be nice if you do a lot of horse training and breeding. Stable slots are always at a premium, and some cities just don't have good inherent stable slots, so it's a nice way to deal with that issue. Do note that before you spend any real money on city expansion storage slots, you want to make sure that you're choosing a good home base. So for example, if you're the type of player that grinds a lot in Kamasylve, you may want to invest in Grana storage if that will be your main base and home. If you're a sailor, primarily Velia is a more apt choice since it's closer to the barter trades you need to make and where some of the sailing dailies are found. If you grind in the desert region a lot, I'd say maybe look into Altanova, but not Valencia, because Valencia is a bit out of the way, unfortunately, and can be cumbersome to live in. So choosing your home base is important and is really something you won't know till about a month or so into the game, figuring out what you want to do, where you like to grind, or where you like to life skill, for example. Also note that the cost of storage is not the same throughout, so some cities like Velia are cheaper for storage than other cities. Natter's Band is something we mentioned already. It expands your fail stack save slots so you can have multiple fail stacks saved without the need of switching characters while you enhance. This is primarily a quality of life item for those that do a lot of enhancing. Otherwise, don't worry too much about it. You get one for free through the Unlock Enhancing quest. The character slot expansion is good if you want to have more alts or use more characters as energy batteries, since all your characters, even when you're not online, will recover some energy every hour, and energy in this game is very valuable as a resource. The more characters you have, the greater the pool of energy available to you, as well as the greater your family fame, which is a metric that allows you to receive payment via mail every day depending on how you've progressed your account. So the more characters you have, say at level 60, the more points you get, the more money you receive daily, as well as getting a little bit more money from the central market or auction house sales. We're going to skip over guild, but quickly mention that guild name change will take effect after the next maintenance. So if you do buy one to change the name of your guild, it will not be immediate. This happens with all name changes. It will have to be implemented in the next maintenance. Miscellaneous subcategory has very few useful items as well. The Golden Bell is a bit of a meme item now. Don't ever spend money on this. You get these practically free from in-game events, and almost everyone has one lying around. Bells are always on pretty much on every channel. Equipment tailoring coupon allows you to make a crafted outfit into a wearable costume so you can use it over your armor. This also allows you to then take that outfit and convert it and melt it into crystals that you can then fuse with another Pearl Shop outfit to give that outfit some stats. The stats are honestly irrelevant, so using that for that's not exactly useful. The main use of these is to convert life skill or profession clothing into wearable outfits that have bonuses for your life skills and also offer a small defensive increase in PvP. The compass is also not worth your money. Emojis are also not worth your money, but inexpensive, so it will honestly be up to you. If you like to chat a lot in server chat, in world chat, in guild chat, having some emojis can be fun. Character name transfer and name change coupons are something that you may need, but understand that you don't really ever need to buy the name change coupon. Instead, you can delete a character and make a character with a name you want. And then you use a name transfer coupon to swap the name of the newly created character with your main character that you want to change the name for. After the change goes through, which happens after, again, the next maintenance, you will then be able to delete the newly created character and your main will have the new name for half the price. Now, family name change is pretty much the same. You need to wait till maintenance for the change to go through. There is no prompt to say, okay, you want this name? It's available. No, as soon as you type it in, if it's available and you hit enter, that's what's going to be registered for the name change. If you didn't like it or you misspelled something, you have to make a ticket and ask for them to cancel it so they can give you the coupon back and you can try again. Morko's gear bag is an item that is semi-useful if you have a character that does both life skill and combat, so you can have the gear you use for combat in the Morko bag, place it on your hotbar, and then swap instantly from your life skill gear to your combat gear. To swap both accessories and your armors and weapons, you're going to need 2 of these bags, by the way, because there's limits to 8 slots per bag. It used to be a lot more useful when you can use defensive gear on your Morko bag and instantly swap mid-combat, so you could still be tanky. When you got a CC on your opponent, you switch to your AP gear, and then you kill your opponent. They've fixed that, so you can't actually use the Morko bag in that way whatsoever anymore. Overall, I'd say that it's a quality of life item, only if you do combat, grinding, and pretty much everything on your one character. And even then, again, only quality of life. Now let's move on to the travel aid category. This is where you're going to find a lot of the bundles and deals happening for the week or the month. They have weekly and daily sales that for the most part aren't necessary, though I will say if you are an avid horse trainer, the weekly Monday special training pack is very good value. As for the rest of the items, we went through Maids already. So we'll touch on the main subscription item for Black Desert, and that's the value pack. It costs $15 a month. It's rarely on sale, though it does go on sale some pretty insane times through Black Friday, usually December holiday times. And they do give out more value packs for free these days, though not enough, I'd say, if you're an active and avid player. Now, value pack in NA and EU can be sold to the market, but there are countless orders and it's just not practical to try and wait for a purchase on that. Some regions, depending on where you are, where you're living, will not be able to buy value pack or even put an order for one in the in-game market, so keep that in mind. There are countless orders anyway on NA and EU, so trying to buy one is honestly almost impossible. Now, with that said, why exactly is it so sought after? The value pack gives your account 16 inventory slots, 16 storage slots for all cities, 10% XP boost, which is really nothing. Distant node investment, which means you can set up node empires remotely without having to go to each NPC, which is very time consuming. That's really nice. 200 weight, which is again really nice. Remember, this affects all your characters in your account. The biggest thing is the 30% extra silver collection. So whenever you sell an item in the central market, you get taxed 35%. So that means if you sell something for 100 silver, you get back 65 silver. Now, when you collect that money, if the value pack is active, it will allow you to get 30% more silver of that collection. So it would be 30% more than 65, which is 84.5. So you'd get 84.5 silver back. And that means that if you were selling something and you want to know exactly how much silver you're going to get with the value pack sale, you simply multiply the item sale price by 0.845. And you'll see just how much silver you'll get. You can get a little bit more if you have higher family fame, but it's not a huge amount. It's 1.5% more at max. Value pack also lets you barter at a 10% reduction cost, which is very nice. And you can also check special barters, which of course is a bartering life skill thing that happens from time to time, which is mainly a quality of life perk more than anything. And that's what the value pack does. Like I said, the silver collection is probably the main reason for people getting it. You, as a new player, get 2 weeks for free automatically. A returning player also gets 2 weeks for free when they return. And then you get a week or so more for free through attendance rewards. If you buy the game package, you can get a couple of weeks more as well. But mainly $15 a month is what you're looking at unless you take advantage of the rare but still possible sales and bundles that include value pack. Now next we have another mini subscription in the form of Blessing of Kamasylve. 15 days will cost you $12.50, and this item allows you to recover energy on your active character much faster. Increases your item drop rate by 20%, which sounds like a lot, but honestly think of it as increasing the chance of an item that has a 0.0001% chance by 20%. So negligible difference, honestly, for rare items, although over time, if you grind enough, it does make a difference. Central market capacity is increased by 2,000, which is very nice. Transaction mates can store or take out market warehouse items up to 100 more weight. So this is not storage mates, but transaction mates. They get double the weight transfer capacity, which is very nice for taking out more potions, for example. Storage transport is also increased by 1,500 weight, which is a niche feature that allows you to transport goods from town to town. So you can transport more heavier or amounts of goods from town to town now. Not wholly necessary, honestly. Though it may seem like you need to buy this item, you really don't. And frankly, I've never bought one, and I still run Blessing of Kamasylve almost constantly since they give you so many through events, and getting them from the central market isn't too hard, so keep that in mind. It could be different, of course, in your region depending on how many people are selling things on the market, but for the most part in both NA and EU, not too difficult to get Blessing of Kamasylve as of this date. I will say this in terms of Pearl items for NA versus EU. NA getting a Blessing of Kamasylve is a lot easier than getting one on EU, and that's kind of true for all Pearl items actually. If you're planning on starting this game and you don't care about your ping, or your ping is very similar, like for me, my ping is very similar to EU and NA, I recommend you play on NA for an easier time for progression. Since so many items for Pearl items, costumes, Kamasylve Blessing, Old Moon books. They go up on sale a lot more on NA. Next up, we have another mini sub called the Secret Book of Old Moon. This item lasts 15 days and costs $12.50 and gives you 100% combat XP, 50% life XP, 50% skill XP, allows you to reset your skills freely, change your add-ons freely, buy villa buffs from your tent, which is an item we're going to go over in a second, and also gives you one more slot in your city stables and wharfs. It's a decent item, but again, not worth the money in my opinion, and very easily bought through the in-game central market, especially if you're on NA servers. They give them out through events a ton as well, so don't worry too much about having to buy this item. Now, the tent that I mentioned briefly, possibly the one item besides value pack I'd say is kind of a must, and that is the Naphart Campsite. This is an item that costs $49, sometimes on sale for $35 or so, but think of it, $49, a one-time purchase, so you have it in your account forever, and it lets you place a tent in any hostile area and repair your gear, buy potions, exchange silver for gold bars, or sell gold bars for silver, store 16 items, and if you have the Secret Book of Old Moon, allows you to access the villa buff without a license, which is normally requiring you to go to Valencia and pay 10 million silver for a week-long license. You don't need that if you have the Old Moon book and the tent. If you don't have the Secret Book of Old Moon and do go and get a license, you can still pop the villa buffs through the tent, so keep that in mind. The villa buffs are crucial for PvP and life skills if you're active. The PvP buffs offer more AP, more DP, more HP, ignore resist, which is huge modifiers, and the life skill buffs give you 10% life XP, but the big one is more energy recovery, which, like I said, energy is an in-demand resource, especially if you're into professions and life skills. Next up, we have the Ornette Dark Honey Wine, which is related to the in-game fairy. This will allow a fairy to level up quickly, though I recommend you don't use it for that, since you can level your fairy by feeding it green weapons. Much cheaper to do it that way. You can also use this wine for making a fairy that is tier 3, a guaranteed tier 4. So there are 4 tiers of fairies, the best one being tier 4 obviously. Very difficult to get, so some people choose to use this wine to make their tier 3 fairies into tier 4s. You can still do the same with in-game items, but it will cost you a lot of silver, which I still think is better than spending $33, honestly, just to make your fairy a tier 4. Especially as I go into the next 2 items, and you'll quickly realize that the fairy as a whole is probably one of the more scummy things in this game. First, let me explain really quickly what a fairy does. She is a helper and has some abilities. She gets better and more abilities the higher tier she is. One of those abilities is the auto potion feature, so you no longer need to press a keystroke or a mouse button to use a potion. The fairy will automatically use a potion whenever your health is below a certain threshold, and this is very, very convenient, and trust me, once you get used to it, you can't go back to pressing a key for heals. It's just going to be a bad time. So the issue arises with the fact that even if you manage to get a tier 4 fairy, the skills she learns are random and can range from a tier 1 skill to a tier 5 skill. So meaning your brand spanking new tier 4 fairy can learn auto potion skill at tier 1, which is the same as a tier 1 fairy. You'd want a tier 5 auto potion for a tier 4, or in this case, miraculous tier 5 is what I'm talking about. The higher the rank of the skill, the faster the fairy can use the potion. If you have a potion, it has a cooldown of 2 seconds if you manually press it. But if your fairy only has rank 1 auto potion skill, it will only consume a potion every 6 seconds. 4 seconds slower, which is an eternity when you are in active combat. Most people tend to be satisfied with rank 4 auto potion, which is 3 seconds per potion, but if you really feel like you need a rank 5 auto potion skill on your fairy, there is just no guarantee that you spending money will get you that skill. That's just the sad state of things. There is no pity timer or any sort of mechanism to prevent you from getting absolutely destroyed by trying to get this skill. Now, how much are we talking about? Well, there are 2 items you can use to reroll your fairy skills. One item is called the Fairy Queen Might for $10. It's going to return your fairy back to level 1, so you can try and level it again and learn all 4 skills it can learn as a tier 4. This is done if all 4 of your skills that you got by getting max level on your tier 4 fairy were absolutely terrible. But if you end up getting 2 other skills that you like, for example, weight rank 5, which allows you to go over your weight capacity by 25%, meaning you don't get encumbered and slow down till you reach 126% of your capacity. That's really nice. Then you really don't want to lose that skill. What you would do then is use Thea Orbs. These Thea Orbs allow you to reroll just 1 skill instead of all 4 of them. At first glance, you see 1 orb costs $2.50, so not bad if you want to reroll a Miraculous Cheer rank 1 skill to try and get the rank 5. But unfortunately, it's not how it works. As a tier 4, you're going to need 4 orbs to reroll 1 skill. That means you're spending $10 to reroll 1 skill in hopes of getting the same skill at a higher rank or another random skill in the pool. Really not okay. As I said, one of the scummiest things you'll find in the cash shop. I was lucky with my fairy, but I know people that spent $300, $400 and they still did not get that skill. So, Pearl Abyss has received a lot of feedback on how utter stupid this mechanic is, but so far there have been 0 changes to the way it works. So my advice to you, only go for Miraculous Tier 5 on a Tier 4 fairy if you absolutely need it for PvP. Otherwise, try and get Miraculous Tier 4, which can be achieved even on a Tier 3 fairy, and then be happy with that and never think about the fairy mechanic ever again. Now, we're past the horror of the fairy stuff, the more pay-to-win stuff. We're moving on to more glamour stuff. Apparel is something we're going to skim over since, honestly, it's fairly obvious. Most of these items are for vanity only. If you like an outfit, it's going to cost you $22 to $34, depending on if it has weapons, skins, and awakening skins. Though the more common ones can be bought in-game with in-game silver on the central market. Again, on NA, it's a lot easier to get these. The developer did, however, add a few normal armor sets as outfits recently, so you can use those if you're not happy with any of the cash shop outfits available to you. I will go over why some people buy outfits apart from the way it looks, and that is something called outfit extraction. Now, this is a function in-game that allows you to take a Pearl Shop outfit and convert it into Cronstones. Now, Cronstones are an in-game item that you can buy from the blacksmith for 2 million silver. They allow you to save enhance certain items. For example, if you're going for pen, which is max enhance on an item, you may want to avoid losing the enhance level and going back to try if your enhancement fails. Typically, a penitent requires 500 to 600 Cronstones for rare armors and weapons, so it would cost you 1 to 1.2 billion silver if you were to buy the Cronstones needed from the blacksmith. Instead, you can buy outfits and extract crons directly. You effectively destroy the Pearl Shop outfit in order to get Cronstones or Valk's Cry, which is another enhanced item. Most people use it for Cronstones, however. Now, if you buy the Pearl Shop outfit with in-game silver, you're spending 335 million silver for the outfit to get 330 crons. You could also spend $34 to get 330 crons. So if you were to buy the 330 crons from the blacksmith, it would cost us 660 million silver. So we're getting a hefty discount by buying outfits either through real money or through the central market. This is why you often see bundles for outfits that say 2+2, where you get 4 outfit sets for the price of 2 or 3. This is currently one of the more pay-to-win elements in the game, but again, complete noob trap. Buying crons through outfits will not guarantee you success, and you will more often than not end up in the same place as someone else who just had some better luck than you and didn't spend a dime on outfits. But in the end, it's your money, but definitely not something you need to do to progress early on. 2 items I'll make a note of before we move on are the ghillie outfits and the life skill outfits. Now, the camouflage outfits are strictly for PvP purposes only. What they do is they hide your name over your character so others can't see who you are. There are in-game items that allow others to expose your name for a brief amount of time, and this function does not work during large-scale wars. So it's mostly used by more PvP-centric players who do a lot of open-world PvP, a lot of red battlefield, instance PvP. That's pretty much it. The life skill outfits all give some perks. The Venia riding attire is not worth the money unless you want to spend $22 for 5% more horse XP than an in-game option can give you. The fishing and shark ones are for swimming faster, which is only useful if you're going to be doing a lot of sailing and bartering, though even then they're not really needed. The Venasil and Karki outfits allow you to process items from your storage without the need for having them in your character inventory. This outfit is actually very powerful for those who do cooking, alchemy, and processing. The Kanape outfit is the cooking outfit that offers more cooking XP and cooking time reduction. It's very powerful because of that cooking time reduction. And the Pavilla outfit does the same as the Kanape outfit, but for alchemy. Although, I'll be honest with you guys, alchemy right now is not as lucrative as cooking, so I wouldn't spend money on an alchemy outfit. The interior category is purely vanity. Again, to be honest, buy things you like. Wait for sales. They usually go for 50% off. There are furniture items you can get through events and craft in-game as well if you want your house to look nice. But the only way to get like wallpaper and flooring is through the Pearl Shop, though they're not that expensive. There is a house ranking system in the game that offers you some silver investment opportunities, but you'd have to spend about $1,000 or so in furniture to be able to access it since you need rank 1 housing. And honestly, the silver investment perk is not very good these days at all. Not worth spending money on furniture unless you like how something looks in your house. The mount category is more for horse trainers. You only ever need 1 horse gear set and you can buy them on the in-game central market if you're lucky. The trainer's flute allows you to call your horse from a fairly long distance. If you are calling your horse a lot, you're going to notice it. It's going to teleport your horse to you. Handy in a lot of instances. The ship skins are completely useless and not worth the money. The only other thing I'd say would be okay spending money in this category would be the horse breeding resets and the mount skill changes, but only if you're all in on horse training. The money you can make from this in-game is very good, but you want to check your own region's horse market to see if it's worth making coursers. Decide whether or not it's worth actually buying horse skill change coupons. Mount brand spellstones are a meme, by the way. Do not spend money on these. They don't really do anything. Mount skill training coupon is also a waste of money unless you just really don't want to train your horse skills for whatever reason. It's not that hard to do. Finally, the pet category. Pets are very important in this game. Used to be that pets were, in my opinion, the most pay-to-win thing in this game. Although, luckily nowadays, they're not as hard to come by. You get 3 pets for completing the main story for the first time, plus 1 more for starting the game as a new player. That's 4 pets for free. There are also events that give out pets very regularly. The best way to get pets without spending money is just to wait for gambling boxes to be on sale. The bad rolls tend to be pets. No one wants the pets, so a lot of people end up selling them in the central market, so you can get a lot of pets this way without ever spending a single dime on pets. You'll, of course, need to rank up your pets. You'll want at least tier 3 pets if you plan on doing a lot of PvE grind. Tier 4 is the max tier you can obtain right now. It's really not worth the money going for it. All but one of my tier 4s on 2 accounts were purely through pets I received from the events and central market. Again, they're easier to get on NA, but EU still sells a good amount of pets. In terms of what type of pet you want is solely up to you and what kind of activities you will be doing. So the polar bear pet is a limited pet that offers weight increase, which is really nice. The hedgehog is the one pet I'd say is a must if you plan on doing any form of gathering, since it has a chance of doubling your gathering loot. Apart from that, I'd say worry about getting tier 3 pets first, and then decide which type of pet you think are either cute or have useful perks for your needs. Pets have a different appearance depending on their tier, but you can change their appearance to any one appearance you like by using a pet appearance change coupon. That can be bought from the cash shop or the loyalty tab. Loyalty is like only 2,400 loyalty, so it's not too bad whatsoever. And that's pretty much it for this one, guys. Hopefully I shined some light on some of the more unsavory cash shop items in the game, but also gave you an idea of what is and isn't needed to play the game more seriously. Black Desert these days isn't so reliant on you having to spend as much money as, say, when it first came out. I'd say, in my opinion, you get so much for free in-game, especially if you're a casual player, which most of you will be, especially if you're starting out. You don't really need to spend money until maybe a month plus. And that's honestly when you decide whether or not you want to play the game anyway. And even then, spending money won't directly give you progression. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments, or you can reach me in-game and on Discord. As always, guys, thanks again for watching. Thanks for listening. I'll see you all in the next one. Take care.